Hi everyone, and welcome back to some more singing tips reels. I've had a bit of a break over Christmas and New Year's, hope you have too. And I'm back to talk about some more interesting insights into singing. I really wanted to include in these sessions some of the behind the scenes specific things that I'm working on personally when I'm in a show or doing a performance or working on some music. So I wanted to talk about an experience I had in my last show, which was Antarctica, written by Mary Finster with a libretto by Tom Wright for Sydney Festival, and we performed it with Sydney Chamber Opera Company. Hopefully you came and saw it. It's a beautiful, fantastic new opera. And it was very, very challenging for the performers. Least of all, the fact that we were all in a densely smoky box trying to sing, which is really hard, but I'll talk about that challenge at another time. But what I want to talk about today was the scariest part of the opera for me. It's a really challenging opera, vocally. It's very long. The singers, there's 5 of us, we're singing all the time. We have to sing all the massive epic chorus parts as well as the solo arias, which are very challenging. So it's a big sing, and you really have to be on top of your game technically to pull this off. But my scariest moment was after, the first sort of quarter of the opera, which is big and lush. If you came and saw it, you'd know how big and lush and beautiful the score is. And then we have some arias, and then comes my aria, which is the very first a cappella moment in the show. So a cappella means no accompaniment. So after all this lush orchestral, beautiful, big arias and chorus numbers, I come out on stage and have to open my aria with nothing. I felt super exposed, really vulnerable, and freaked out. I kept saying to Jack Simons, who's the conductor, I can't do this. I freak out. My nerves are so high. My voice is shaking. I just can't get this clean and beautiful, this opening. And I was racking my brains on how to kind of solve this challenge. And I started with the technical stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I've got to, breathe, and I've got to support, and I've got to think about the onset and then carry me through the breath of the phrase, which I did have to think about all that stuff, but it still wasn't working. And then I realized, actually, no, I need to forget the technical side of things, and I need to tap into what is happening dramatically and what is the emotion of the piece. Because for me, emotion is like the final at least 30% of singer's technique. It's such a massive part of why we sing and how we can tap into our instrument effectively, because essentially humans make sound to communicate with other humans. That's why we do. That's why babies cry. That's why we scream for help. That's why if we're talking to a child, we change our voice, or if we're telling a secret, we whisper. Our body responds to the emotion and the response that we want in the other person. So it's always really important, I think, to tap into the emotion and the reason why you're making that sound. And for me, that is not the cherry on top. It's like the final part of preparation and technique in being able to pull off a song effectively. So that's what I did. I'm like, okay, instead of thinking technically and freaking myself out about this, what is the emotional context? And my aria opens with a prayer for the character theologian, praying to God. So I really tapped into that moment. Actually, this is an intimate, personal moment, and I need to quieten myself and tap into that calm, devoted place and really speak to God. That's my motivation. And so when I tapped into that, then everything worked. I calmed down, I felt my body, I breathed calmly and perfectly for the opening phrase. And I just felt so at peace with what I was doing in that aria. So I just wanted to share that little tip and hack. If you have a similar experience, have a think about, are you really putting in the context of the emotion and giving yourself a reason to make a sound? And your body will no doubt respond perfectly if you set it up right with your brain and with the right scenario. So I hope you find that really useful, maybe interesting. And I look forward to some more singing tips. Please comment, please share. Love your work. Bye.